Yeah, I mean, that's fair to say. I feel like you go out and play like that, it's it's gonna be tough to find that energy. So maybe that was the case. I don't think we went into this with the wrong mentality. I don't think we went about our meetings, our practice this week in the wrong way. I just think that at the end of the day, it's all about Sundays. I say that all the time. But when you go out and play bad, you gotta, I don't know, maybe fake it a little bit to make it seem real. But the energy's not there because we're playing like trash. So, that's how I see it.
When that offense is lighting up the scoreboard, how frustrating is it that you weren't able to match them, get into the end zone, and able to kind of relieve your defense a little bit?
Yeah, it's frustrating because they were doing a good job. They make it look easy. All of a sudden they're just dialing it up. We got to find a way to finish and score touchdowns. I think that people get caught up in the wrong things. We're having long drives and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, this game's about scoring points, scoring touchdowns. And I know personally, I'm not taking any moral victories from having elongated drives or anything like that. That's how I feel about it. So we had to match it at the end of the day. I feel like it's our job to if defense isn't getting stopped, it's our job to go down points and make them feel a little better about that, have some motivation to go out there and get a stop, and we didn't give them any of that today. So that's how I see it.
I think your longest play on offense was like 14 yards today. How shocking is that to you, particularly coming off that second half, against the Texans, where you guys obviously scored the 3 touchdowns and you and Davante were still involved?
Just thinking back on the game, it's not that shocking. That's how it felt. So, is it shocking given the fact of how we practiced during the week, how we went about stuff in training camp, what I think we have in this locker room? Yeah, it's shocking. But as far as being out there and just the vibes and how it felt, no, that sounded about right. 14 yards, that sounds right.
Garrett, this is now twice this season where you guys had a Thursday night game where you had some momentum, New England and then Houston, and then you come back and the next week you don't score a touchdown. Is there something about these layoffs that you guys aren't handling correctly?
I don't know. I mean, there must be. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you got to show up when it's time to play the game. So it's always been my mentality, and at the end of the day, those Thursday night games, we did what we were supposed to do. I don't look at those as doing something extraordinary, going out and playing. No, we handle business where we should handle business. We played the Patriots and we played the Texans with being banged up, and that's the reality of it. We got to go out and find a way to do it against a team that's Arizona in this case, at their spot.
A couple of players that
Garrett, you had the second half against Houston where things looked so good, and it's not for lack of talent in the locker room because you guys have stars, it seems like, everywhere. I mean, why does it seem so hard for this offense so often?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I wish I knew. I would. I don't even know if I'd tell you, but I would feel better about it if I knew. I don't know. It's frustrating, man. So, yeah, I don't know.
A couple of players that I talked to use the words embarrassing, laid an egg. How would you sum up today's effort? 31-6.
They're spot on. 31-6 is unacceptable, especially when we go about things right. But we have a team that can go out and play with anybody, but we just continue to not do it when it matters. So we got to find a way to stack it. At the end of the day, I take a lot of pride in winning games. That's not going to stop. We got to find a way to stack these wins and get to what it is, 10-7. So that's all.
I mean, it's frustrating, obviously. It's not our standard of football. That's not my standard of football. So it's frustrating, but yeah, it's just I don't really know what to say. It was just a weird day. Came out and did some good stuff, but we just didn't do enough to be able to compete with those boys today.
Davante, the second quarter throw down near the end zone that Aaron threw, you kind of stopped in the middle there and it went outside. What happened on that? Was that you guys kicked a field goal right after that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just based off the look, I don't think that we had practiced that play that we were running against that particular look. So I think what he was looking for was potentially something quicker just based off of the pressure that he was getting. But my route was already very quick route. I basically had a hitch from the inside. So it was, I mean, that's just one play of, however many we had today that wouldn't even look at that play like we weren't on the same page, because we were on the same page. It's just he had to get the ball out, and he let it go, and yeah, I wasn't ready at that moment for the ball. But it was just a matter of the play that we ran versus the look we got, and we hadn't practiced against that.
What did you see on the two in the end zone in that first drive? You guys were moving it well down in the first drive of the third quarter there, and you had two shots at you there. What did you see in those 2 points? I think Luda got the one.
Yeah, whoever was inside on that one, it got knocked down, and the second one got. I don't know if it got tipped, but it got right by the guy's hand and got up on me, and it's a play that I obviously got to make. But yeah, it was weird stuff like that all day, where we just maybe had opportunity, or a lot of it felt like we didn't even have as many opportunities to really have a good play against whatever it was that they were going or they were running, and it just gives a weird feeling to everybody running routes. You're not exactly sure what to come back and say and how to fix the problem, but it's one of those ones that you got to watch on film. But unfortunately, it's behind us now, and can't watch it on film and fix it against that team. It's something that we could try to fix for next time, maybe have an answer, but this one's gone.
How was the energy today, Davante?
I don't think we had the energy that we've had the last 2 weeks. I think that we could definitely be better there, but it was that's not really what it came down to. At least on our side, we just had to finish drives better and got to score a lot of points. It's a team game, and obviously if the defense is not having a great day, we got to find a way on offense to try to pick them up and vice versa.
When you talk about that energy, Davante, I mean, how does that happen when you guys have there's not much wiggle room because of the hole you guys are in? So how do you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't to the level that we reestablished, and it showed. But I don't know.
A lot of people. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. A lot of people would look at this offense and say, well, a lot of good players on this offense.
Right.
So, in your opinion, what's missing?
Just executing at the right times, and when I say the right times, I mean going down, and obviously we had started the game with a couple. We didn't have very many possessions in the first half, period. So making the ones count, scoring touchdowns. So that's on us as the offense is putting it in, but you're not going to score every time. So that's the part where we got to come together, and obviously they got to do what they got to do on the other side of the ball to help us in those situations where we don't get hurt. When we end up with points, and it's a tough game, man. You just gotta have all phases working together, and we didn't have that today.
You talked about all that kind of weird stuff that was happening in your time playing football. How often has that happened, and what has usually been the fix for it?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually a little easier to make in-game adjustments and to figure that out. But I mean, just based off what they're running, it was a little bit of a Rolodex on defense, and we just didn't have an answer on time many times. But we weren't really. It's weird because you look at the score and it was like you would think that we was just 3 and out, when that wasn't even the case. It was just a matter of not being able to capitalize, and maximize the opportunities in the drives that we had. And we can go score and kick 3 and take a moral victory, but that don't help our defense. That don't help us, our morale as far as. We got too many good players to go out there and have as many drives as we did and not score touchdowns. And obviously I got to do a better job and finish that play that I had, that opportunity in the end zone, regardless if the ball's tipped or whatever, which I'm not even so sure that it was. But it was really close, and it's one of those ones that you got to figure out regardless. But I wouldn't say it happens extremely often, but when it does, typically you can make an adjustment and try to fix it throughout the